I'm Peter Burke, and welcome to Shark 9, the Durham Jazz Workshop. I'm a volunteer here, and what we're about today is to let folks hereabouts and thereabouts, including faraway Ecuador possibly, what's been happening here and what Dave and behind the camera Valerie are thinking of doing. So, Dave, welcome to your own house.
Great to see you here. We were catching up that maybe the last time you were, in the workshop was March of 2020 or
a year ago. Something. It's an anniversary going on this week or something like that.
Yeah.
But not one you celebrate.
Yeah, that's right. This will not go down into the record books. Right?
Yeah, and for folks out there, it really felt nice to walk in the front door. So part of what we'll be talking about today is who knows, we'll try a little bit more information about what's going to happen, how others will go through the front door.
Yeah.
But what have you been keeping yourselves busy doing to keep afloat, I guess, over the last year?
Yeah, well, it's been a journey, and obviously the donors have been an amazing help for the survival. We had over 300 donations in 2020, and so that was just amazing, and gave us the energy to plow through and the support to plow through. Around May, we kind of transitioned to teaching online classes, and Scott Sawyer and Dan Davis and myself and a number of other people. Brandon Mitchell has been doing classes, and you yourself have been doing a real popular class last time, and you're going to do one again.
Yep.
So those have been really successful, and kept us engaged with the community. And speaking of my class, the students were really challenging and asking great questions, and really taking the opportunity of. We didn't have an opportunity to meet in groups and work in groups, so everybody took it upon themselves to get individually, go where they needed to go and hit the woodshed, as they say.
Well, I mean, that's a tribute to you and the students, and this, I guess, became the backbone of what you were doing. That's been going on for the last year, and then of course last year you did 7 live streams before the COVID pandemic. I don't know which. I'm trying to do an arc. No, case of enough. Yeah, I mean you've done that as well, and now started as of Saturday. I've started them up again.
Yeah. Over I guess maybe midway through the summer, Valerie was like, we got to get some equipment and get the streams going, and she met with Jason Richmond.
Right.
Extraordinary sound engineer, and he gave some advice about some audio equipment to get. And we've set up, I guess when people come in for the live shows, we have a little control room on your way to the second bathroom. In the hallway there's that little room, and that's now an audio engineering room. And where basically what we did was we removed the cables for our PA system, since we weren't going to be using the PA, and we've rerouted some of that wiring. So basically it was a recording. We've turned the place into a recording session, a recording studio. Yeah. And so that was going great. And once again, there was a big donor support line to help facilitate that, and people came through greatly for that. We got it running, and then the numbers of the virus just really spiked, come November. So we pulled the plug on that.
And I think too that this place, like other music education places, is kind of fallen in the cracks of the system right now in terms of what you can do and what you can't do. Are you an educator, and does that mean you can get a vaccination?
Right.
You move up a group or whatever, but I think it's particularly difficult for this kind and size of operation, and not just here, but elsewhere as well. So you guys have done quite well. But one thing, now the first set of live streams, you got quite a few hits.
Yes.
Was it YouTube and Facebook you were using at that point?
Yes. Yes.
So that to me, because I've been keeping up with lots of online music, mostly from outside here. The response that you got, I think, is fantastic, because I watch gigs from New York where, there may have 50 people that are tuning into the live stream, and that live stream may be available for another 24 to 48 hours, but then it disappears.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it makes things more interesting, and perhaps even for the future, in terms of you become not just a local venue, you become a national venue in some ways.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing that all these venues, first off, there's not there might not be a huge amount of jazz clubs on planet Earth, right? There are in the metropolitan areas, there are some, and obviously a number of them have not survived the virus, but a lot of the venues have transitioned to this live streaming thing, and I believe some of them have realized a significant revenue source, enough so that they're like, we got to keep this going,
Yeah. Well, the competition. I mean, this is just kind of the start. Then we're going to go back to normal, which is where probably we should shift gears to. But this has, I know, for me, this has implications. A lot of implications for how you might use this in addition to what you normally do.
Right.
Because it's interesting stuff.
I could speak on that a little bit, or you got something?
No, go ahead. I mean,
I was going to say that, and we have chatted about this a little bit during the year, and Valerie, with you, I mean, and then also, with Valerie, and I appreciate you sharing your insights about, looking at the streams of other places. Well, I think the plan is that we're going to try to raise some money. Like I said, over the summer, we invested heavily in the audio equipment.
Right.
And we're going to invest now and try to get some of these, what do they call them? PTZ cameras that you can mount.
Right.
And so that the wires don't take up floor space for our fairly small room, and people aren't tripping over tripods and stuff. And we'd be able to run the wires into this other room where the audio engineer is now, so there'll be like a control room, so we'll get a media center.
I mean, that's what I think. This is the year that jazz musicians, among other musicians, suddenly learned about technology. It's like, oh, this is what you do. Oh, I can do Zoom. I can teach on Zoom. I can, if I have the right software, I can actually play with somebody pretty much in time with really low latency. Or, oh, I can start having live performances that maybe I could live stream to subscribers out there, and then make Durham into a jazz mecca.
Right. That's the plan.
I know there are people that would like that, even aside from me. It just, So that's
we need to keep the community. I mean, we are, as you know, we just have a great community of musicians in this area, and we need to keep them active and working, and we felt bad that we had to pull the plug on the stream, back in November last year, but we're hoping to get that going. I think Valerie's going to try to hopefully get that going, until we can open,
And I guess that each of my perception would be, you did one on Saturday, and that was a learning process again, because it does take time to figure all this stuff out, and there are these. It's what do you do with the glitch when it happens? Look at them. I don't have a manual.
Yeah.
And then you've got another one coming up.
March 20th.
March 20th, Ernest Turner's trio.
Yeah.
That's super.
With Jeremy Clemens.
Yeah.
And Butler Knowles.
Yeah.
Who's one of my favorite players. All.
No, that's going to be good sound. I know that I suspect that, like most musicians, Ernest and those guys are ready to play.
Yeah.
Because I felt it in people's playing sometime where it's like, I'm back, and it's just it's really exciting.
Yeah.
So beyond that, have you got an idea of how many you'd like to do this time around, or?
We
what
have
does it
not.
look like at the moment?
Yeah, we have not scheduled it in, but I think she was talking about wanting to do them weekly at least.
Yeah.
So we'll make some announcements on that pretty soon.
Yeah, of course, that means, God, that's a production line. Of course, you had a production line before, but a different kind of production line. So you get things together, and Valerie may grow an extra pair of arms and do everything with, everything that she's already doing with two.
Right.
So, yeah, look, I think that's just tremendous, because that, although my sense right now is that, I know that there are now a couple of outdoor gigs in this region, in this area around here, that one that's been going on in Holly Springs, and another one will be going on down in Raleigh, starting this Thursday, I think. And so I think that it's like people are many coming out of their holes.
Spring is in
Or
there.
I think actually people are coming out even before that. It's just kind of waiting for it to be the right time, because it's like, hey, we can't wait any longer either to play or go hear music. So I think you're in a good spot if we just get the COVID and the health system gods to cooperate.
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing we're working on is, and we've gotten a lot of emails from the email list of people wanting to make sure that we're aware of some of the grants that with the new
with the new bill that's passed.
Bill.
Because music vendors are supposed to be getting more out of that.
Yeah, and so there's a little bit of a nail biter thing going on. There's this stipulation that the PPP round, which we got in May, we got one, which was great. There was the forgivable loan, or it was a loan, but it was transitioned into being forgivable.
Yeah, otherwise known as a grant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But this time around, they've talked about a larger grant for venues they call it the Shuttered Venues Operator Grant. And it encompasses, small venues. I think it's even movie theaters, theaters of all kinds. And based upon the description in the grant, we would be like a poster child for being able to apply for this. However, they have not opened up the application process, but they have stipulated certain things that the organization has to do in order to qualify.
Yeah.
If you're getting money from the government through a grant process, you need to be registered, the organizations.
So there's hoops to go through.
Yeah, but we've been working on that stuff.
Good. I know that people out there are happy to hear that kind of information. I know, my heart is beating fast. It's just, grants.
Yeah.
I've got some ideas too.
Right.
But I'll keep quiet on that. I'll just let them percolate at this point, because it's we'll see what you all want to come up with. But I wouldn't want to pay my credit card bills on the equipment to start with, I suspect, or whatever. I mean, this stuff is not necessarily cheap.
Right.
But or to hire somebody that you could keep in the closet here to run your technology. Just that'd be interesting. But that's good. All this stuff is good to hear.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other fantasies, hopes?
Well, no, just getting. We obviously a large. A significant amount of our student population that do the combos have been receiving their vaccinations, and I believe Scott Sawyer is maybe has gotten his first shot yet. So
I didn't know that, because I know he has said 2 shots in 2 weeks and I'm ready to go.
Right.
But he'll have to think about it a bit more. But if we're getting down to these younger musicians, he said.
Right.
Or you younger people. That's because I've thought about that too, in terms of, okay, can we get together a vaccinated people's band?
Yeah.
And invite vaccinated people to come listen to the vaccinated people's band.
That's a great idea.
I'm sure now.
Maybe even some of our are groups that pay to be coached by Scott or myself or something like that, I'm sure they would welcome the invite of allowing the, you know.
Yeah, you'd have a lot of jealous people, but that would be with the promise that your day is coming for those people, that they're still waiting, because there's so many other people that do want to get to the music. Yeah. That sounds great. That sounds great.
So we were also doing something just before going on to showtime. You were, you know, walking around, putting the tables 6 feet apart. We were doing an unscientific an eye test. I guess we did have a tape measure there for a little bit.
Well, yeah, but it's an approximation of, because it's good to think about.
Yeah.
How many, if you get down to that point where you could get people in, especially if you're talking about it. I mean, with the latest CDC guidelines for people like me that are vaccinated, if I keep distance, keep a mask on, wash my hands, that kind of thing would work. But you know, that's, I know with a smaller place like this, it's hard to make that financially worthwhile. Yeah, but it's, you know, you could make it a VIP event.
Right.
VIP fundraising, socially distanced, masked, with clean hands. Concert by the Vaccinated People's Band.
I think currently, I think I forgot this earlier when we were doing that, but I think in Durham right now the rule is indoors 25 people, but that doesn't include musicians. They specified. State people on the stage, theoretically that's a separate number, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And they were even saying on sporting events, you know, where they can have larger amounts of people, that's not counting the actual sports people.
Players, well that's a certain sense of balance. But just trying to guesstimate that what you can do and could do if you were able to do it. But with that, there's still that, still we gotta be careful.
Valerie's talking about moving the concession area into this current room. We might be putzing around with that and seeing what it looks like, but that would allow some more space and
I mean that
things like that.
That has its virtues. I mean, not just for now, but for later and
more space.
That sounds. There's plenty of room in here. That's for sure. You all are trying to think as creative as possible.
Yes.
With the situation that you got, but now and once we get back to more normal things, which it's beginning to feel like we are, though part of that solution is an illusion, because we know that we still have to be careful. But well, this is fantastic.
I can tell you that Jim Ketch has already booked all the NC Gero shows.
He has. I thought I saw it. I saw that on the calendar, and I said,
he's chomping.
Interesting. But there are no Jim Ketch Swing Tet things in there too. Maybe there are. Maybe I'm misreading your calendar.
Right. He put down some dates. That, and I think I emailed him back the ones, but maybe those haven't made onto the calendar, or maybe he hasn't confirmed which ones. And everything was kind of up in the air anyway.
Well, what that says is, people are ready. I mean, the musicians are obviously ready. The audience is there. I mean, I found out from just, how hungry my small group of people in my class have been and still are.
Who's going to be, who's first up for you?
Oh, for me, Angela Bingham will be singing, and Frank Longino will be playing on tomorrow night. And then the week after that, Allison Weiner, who is the jazz queen of Saxe-Bahá, who has been playing she puts up a Facebook morning meditation. She's done it for the last year from her house, where she just improvises for about 4, 5, 6 minutes. And some of the stuff is just absolutely beautiful. It's really, really worth listening to. Week after that, bassist Jason Foreman and Stephen Anderson. They did a duo recording last year. That's one reason to have them there. And then Stephen's got his Dominican Jazz Project putting together. They've got a CD that's almost together. Week 4 is Bradford Marsalis, who will be talking about the stuff that he's been doing at NC State over these years and his observations on
NC Central.
NC
Yeah.
sorry. God, I graduated from NC State.
Really?
I'm going to be fair to NC State.
I didn't know that.
That's why I said that. But no, at Central. And then week 5, Baron Thomas, guitar professor at North Carolina Central. And the last class is Ernest Turner. Yeah, yeah. And one of the thoughts I got too is that if you, as you plan just let me know what your live stream people are, because we may be able to put some sort of link between, preview some of your live streams in the class or something like that. I mean, there's, I started doing these Zoom things, and I keep seeing ways we can, you can put things together to advertise what's coming up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, I think that's, isn't that a lot, folks? Yeah.
It was great
I want
to
to
see you.
thanks, Dave. Valerie is keeping an eye on us behind the camera and is thinking as we're going along. It's been a pleasure to do this, and I hope you all enjoy this and now have a sense of what's happening out here and what will happen. Thank you.
Thank you.